Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania morning Hundoke. Today is Anshil, and we have Reverend Daniel Meadows presenting on this Sunday, the 10th of May 2026, or the 24th of March in the 14th year of Tongilguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanji Chumpuninge Kambai. Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가전맨세 6. 천일국 주인, 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 손을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 6. Our family, the owner of Chongilguk, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love. Thank you. I'd like to share again Mother's blessing prayer that she gave on the 7th of May 2023. Beloved Heavenly Parent, for 6,000 years, Heavenly Parent, you have walked a strenuous course, searching for your lost children. Today, after the passing of that 6,000 years, many blessed sons and daughters whom you can embrace in your bosom have been born through the true parents on earth. It is an unprecedented occasion, not only in providential history, but also in human history, as you, Heavenly Parent, preside directly on earth today, as you have dreamed of doing, and especially on this land, over the blessing of more than 8,000 couples, good men and women, and blessed couples here at the Peace World Centre and in 150 countries. When we consider that this is a blessing day that you, Heavenly Parent, are directly presiding over, we thank you, Heavenly Parent. We offer you our thanks from a heart of deep gratitude. Please remember True Parents' arduous journey. This will be the day of the dedication of Chongwon-gung and Chongil Sanctum, where we can attend you, Heavenly Parent. Our Heavenly Parent, we thank you. We offer you our gratitude. Heavenly Parent, please accept this joy and glory. I pray that all 8,000 couples who are receiving the blessing today will fulfill their responsibility. Let them guide the 8 billion people of the world to Heavenly Parent's bosom in the shortest possible time, so that they can become couples whom you will remember and be proud of, and in whom you will have increasing hope. Please grant them your wisdom and capability. We pledge that they will become proud, blessed couples of Chongilguk, who will, without fail, accomplish their dutiful path as filial sons and daughters and loyal subjects in front of you, Heavenly Parent. And so please accept them with joy. In True Parent's name we pray and proclaim these words are due. And before we welcome up Reverend Daniel, I'd like to offer a praise song. Please.
羽ばたきゆこう天使という名の翼を広げ愛の祈りが明日を照らすように暗闇の中照らされた道しるべ今あなたの元まで届くように約束果たす最後の時まで共に進もうとは今まであなたの苦労の涙が天使という名の翼になって雲の夢を私の夢へとつなげられますように共に進もうとは
By becoming one with Chenshin, let us all move forward for the victory.
저녁 끝내 바로
Thank you. And now let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Daniel as he shares this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend John. Morning,
Welcome
brothers
back.
and sisters. Um, I'm going to share about, I'm just going to give some reflection on a little report about Korea. So this time when I went over, there was sort of three things that I attended. First was the WCLC, which was a very nice experience because I went together with Dr. Tuisuga, who's a Samoan minister who lives in Victoria, and that was quite nice. There was a lot of high-level Christian ministers who were there and attended to all the events there. Went to the Chonmongun Palace, this kind of thing. That was quite a nice event. Especially they had this one bishop from Rome. That was very nice to see this kind of level of brother from the Catholic Church. I was very impressed. And he was very friendly, and he really even sounded a bit like a member when I spoke to him, because he talked about the church members in Italy and that kind of thing. Anyway, there was also the Prophet Rabbity was there, so that was also very nice. When I first met him, I met Bakary Kamara in the hotel we were staying at, and so I said, "G'day to Bakary." It'd been a long time, and then he pointed behind him and said, "Oh, do you know this gentleman?" And I looked behind him, and there's this kind of short African brother behind him, and I said, "Oh, I don't know this bloke, no." Went to shake his hand, and I realized, oh, this is Prophet Rabbity, because he wasn't wearing his headdress. But I recognized his face after a few seconds. And anyway, they had a good laugh. And that was very nice, the WCLC. And then after that, there was an award ceremony. So as both Sydney and Melbourne won an award. Yes. And what that award was for, there was a couple of awards, but the general award was we set a goal for anyway, we had a certain number of goals that we had set and submit to headquarters, and we'd achieved those goals. So or we'd achieved some degree of them. I can't remember exactly how they said it, but anyway, we had done quite well according to what we had submitted to headquarters. So we both got awards, which is really good. That's great testament to our brothers and sisters in Australia. We go, yay.
You.
Jew. So and anyway, that was nice. That yeah, it was kind of a nice thing to recognize the different mission fields that they were doing well and were having some progress. And then there was the open forum. So the open forum, it was kind of just a blessing to be there, because that was really for continental directors and yeah, vice continental directors, and each region or each continent was only allowed to bring 5 people. And anyway, so I think just it was because I happened to be in Korea. I think I was able to attend, and I did feel a little bit like, wow, I'm probably not. I'm, I don't know if I've how did I get to be here? Because there's, you know, but anyway, it was they're happy to have sort of younger pastors there, I guess. But it was, yeah, it was a real blessing to be there. And the topic of conversation was going to be the Chonilguk Constitution. So that's a pretty important, a very important conversation to have for our movement, because that's, Father talked about that as being once true parents are in spiritual world, how are we going to, how's our organization going to continue? Father said, well, we'll run by the Chonilguk Constitution, and Mother's been following that up as well, trying to get it together as a proper document that will, that will be, how do you say, airtight. That will be something that that will successfully help us to navigate leadership in future. Because yeah, as we've seen, that's a problem sometimes in our movement. And especially when, we still have true parents with us now, but in future, and it was noted a lot during that time, because we didn't actually end up getting to talk about it. At the last minute, they said, "Oh, we're going to change because of the political situation in Korea. I don't think we'll be talking about this point." So, people. So, anyway, a lot of the continental directors were a little upset. Not too upset, but they said, "Look, okay, it's fine that we don't talk about it now, but can we please have this talk, in future, because it's a very important discussion." And Japan had brought 2, very good, uh, anyway, two people who are very versed in this kind of things. They looked like they were professionals in this kind of field of looking at those kind of documents. And Europe had also brought someone who was very, very versed in bylaws and things like that. And so it looks like they had really prepared well to bring people who were really going to have a good look at this kind of thing. Anyway, in the end, they said, "Listen, we're going to change, and we're going to talk about not the Constitution, but we'll talk about some of the other bylaws and some of the other documents, that we need to look at, like how we dealing with assets and things like this." Anyway, that was the plan, and but then as we went into it, we had. We started just how it went with there was sort of professors or the people who had been working on these laws for several years or so, had now come and with their document, and they said, okay, well, can we read through the key points and then just talk about it, or not? Usually it was more like add your comment. Questions were not at that, when we were there to keep things flowing. The questions, they said, oh, please add comment. We don't need your question so much, but your input. But as we went through it's became very clear that a lot of the comments were were expressing I think the first sort of Q&A that we had, there was a lot of expression from the continental directors that was much deeper than just talking about these points. And some of them began to get very frustrated and say that, listen, we're talking about these things, but isn't there bigger problems at hand that we should discuss? Like, what about mother, and what about these things? And they, anyway, I won't go into these points, but what I'm saying is that everyone started expressing their deep heart, and it occurred to me that I think prior to going to this open forum, I felt, I had a lot of questions and a lot of reservations and this kind of thing prior to this forum. And I thought that was just because I'm sort of a little bit removed from the Korean leadership, and I don't, obviously, maybe a lot of information doesn't trickle down. And I sort of felt a lot of members have this same feeling that I do. And but anyway, when I sat in that room, what occurred to me was that the continental directors and everyone in the top of our international movement, they were having the same heart, because their questions sort of came from a same spot that, for me. I skipped some point. They also did give us a briefing of some of the important legal points, which I won't go into because I think this has been recorded. But anyway, they did give us a briefing. So they did, which was very nice, because we hadn't, we hadn't really been told anything from the church side about it, at least for me, up until that point. And I think for a lot of them also, they didn't get this kind of briefing. Anyway. As the meeting progressed that day, they got very spicy with what they wanted to say. And anyway, even to the point where I sort of, I like to joke in Melbourne. I like to joke that my pastime is to accuse Korean leaders. That's my favorite hobby. That's my thing to do. But even when some of the things that some of the continental directors said during that sort of first Q&A session, I thought, wow, okay, settle down. Like, that's very, very direct. But such was their heart, uh, and so after that, anyway, Reverend Du, he's the leader. There's three pillars at the moment of leadership, and the World Mission headquarters was the one sort of that we were dealing with. The other, there was the human resources, I think, and then the central administration. And so Reverend Du, the international president, or international director, he's in charge of World Mission headquarters, and he was the main bloke. He was there with his wife, and he was there the whole time. And he really, I really respect him a lot after this meeting, because I hadn't seen this from, I mean, maybe I didn't have the opportunity to, but it was very nice because he didn't try and dodge questions. And he sat there and he listened to the questions, and then he tried his best to respond. And he responded honestly and from the heart. He had opening and closing speeches for this whole forum, and each time he prepared a speech to say, but then he would get up and say, "Do you want me to read the speech, or do you want me to just speak from my heart?" And each time we just said, "Just speak from your heart," and he did. That was very nice. But I think it really felt also that even in the headquarters, that they also had they shared a lot of these heart this feeling. Um, I say this feeling. I'll get more perhaps into it in a second, but what I'm saying is that our concerns were the same. There's not it felt like everyone's lacking of trust, and lacking of feeling that there was a lack of integrity in the higher rungs of our movement. That that felt like everyone really felt that. We were all concerned about mother, and about how did this happen, that she was allowed to be sort of attacked like this. How come we couldn't protect her? And what's really going on? It felt like there was, up until the continental directors, we sort of had a communication. Like with we know who, for Asia Pacific, we know who Reverend Utaka is, and we can communicate with him. Fortunately, we're in Australia. He's in Australia, so we're quite close with him. But after that, until True Mother, it's for me, and I think for everyone else, it felt like there was this distance of who's in between there, and how are we getting our information there and from. So Reverend Do, he opened up not just once for Q&A, but he opened up 3 times, and each time was very long. There was two general ones, and then there was they had small group ones where we could go and we could ask any question we wanted. And uh, that was really nice, because I did have some burning questions, and I think everyone did. Um, and it was really good to finally have some communication to that level of leadership, because anyway, it's like I said, I joke a lot about having fun to accuse the Korean, say, "Oh, the Koreans are always like this," but it's not. It's a joke. It's not really I don't really like to do it. I like to think that we have our movements in good hands. I like to think that all the members there are honest and are trying to do their best, and that I want to support them. And so having this time to talk with them, and to hear back from them, and for them not to dodge our questions, because nothing frustrates me more when they say, "Let's talk," and then you ask them a question, and they speak all these words but don't actually answer your question. Uh, so it's happened quite a bit before, and I could see that the continental directors as well were so frustrated with that kind of communication, where it felt we didn't get listened to, where they would just say, "Oh, you can ask something," and we ask something, but they don't actually answer. So this was very nice. This was very different. The communication was very open, and it really felt that Reverend Kendu really gave as best an answer as he could, and to the degree that I think everyone was very satisfied, because at the last day, when he again opened up and said, "Okay, any questions you like," to everyone there, after he'd had a first Q&A, and then he'd had small group Q&As with the different levels of leadership, and then he opened up again. But during that last Q&A, people didn't have many questions, because he had given them so much opportunity to ask and to clarify what was on their hearts, me included. So I actually did get a chance. They actually were a bit stuck. They were like, "Oh my gosh, no one is going to say anything. Daniel, you'll say something?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll say something." And so I got up, but I said, "I don't have a question, because I've answered. You've answered all my questions that I've all the burning questions I've had. I probably could find more niggly questions, but um, that communication, it really made me realize that how important that is for uh, trust, I guess, within our movement, or because I didn't realize how the difference of my heart was so different between that time. And I didn't realize how much I was lacking in trust and in, yeah, basically like that. And so being able to meet the World Mission Headquarters director and then talk with him and express what I felt, and then have him hear me and then respond to that. Um, it was anyway. It was very very refreshing. To the degree that I feel confident now that I can say I do think we're in good hands. Reverend Do is anyway. He's from the mission field, so he uh, I think anyway. One of the things he said was that when he first became the not continental, the World Mission Headquarters leaders, he asked his staff, "What is it you expect of me?" and had them write out a paragraph each of what they expect him to do, and then he printed it and framed it and put it on his desk to to remind him this is what you're supposed to do. Um, so he's very he's very warm when it comes to dealing with members. And another thing that I really this was one of I had sort of um, three main points of reflection from this whole experience, and one of them was the communication of how important that was and how big of a difference it made when we could have free communication, where we didn't feel like there was sort of a, many times when we go to Korea, they just, we watch a lecture and then they tell us something and then ask us for our reflection written, and we don't get to really say anything. Um, but this communication that we were able to have was, you know, that was really nice. That was so important, I feel. Um, and it was the second point, the second reflecting point was, yeah, that all levels of our church have the same concern. It appeared to me, and they that really made us feel like a family, because it didn't feel like there was, when I sat there with everyone, everyone's shared the same concern about every point. It felt like, um, and so that did make it really feel like a family. Uh, and the third point was that in that sitting in that room and talking to them, it really highlighted how intelligent and how competent everyone there was. They were really very high level leaders with high levels of competence. And a big shout out to Moriko Hori, because um, she was amazing. She broke the ice a couple of times where she was just, we were talking about assets and this kind of thing. And anyways, yeah, she um, President, if you remember when President Hori was the Continental Director here, he spoke about Moriko-san. He said that Moriko is like he's like a great warrior, or David against Goliath kind of thing.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, that's the she really is. Like, she is so funny. Yeah, she's fearless. But she's so kind and sweet as well. And um, yeah, it was really good. Uh, Also, Michael Balcom. Um, wow, that guy. Yeah, he doesn't. Anyway, he said a lot of things, and he just sort of. Uh, I felt a little, oh man, this might be a bit hard for Reverend Do, you know. Maybe he won't open up the floor after Michael Balcom speaks. Anyway, he did. He took all the strong words. But everyone in there was very, very intelligent, and yeah, it was very good. I've got a bit of time, don't I? Good, good, good. Another point, one of the final points, is Mika was there because yeah. Anyway, she's a regional director in Africa, and there was, I think, each region or most of the regions brought sort of some younger leader, and it was really nice to talk with them. And in the last sharing, uh, oh, we got raided. That's right. That's another thing that happened. I'll just mention this before I go into this point. Is yeah. So we were supposed to meet. I forget the name of this place. There's Chonjonggung's on top, the palace, and then there's this in between place that has the Arc de Triomphe thing, and then there's Chonwongung down with the Chonil Sanctum, the new one opened up. So there's a middle one there, and that's where the headquarters is located. And so that's where we were having our meeting for the first 2 days. But then after that, we got raided by the police. So we arrived, and then we were told just to, oh, you head back on down to Chomtong Training Center because the police are here. And so for the next 2 days, they were raiding our headquarters. We weren't sure what for. Anyway, that was I think they heard somehow that our there was international leaders were coming here to talk, and so they were coming to find something. I don't know. But yeah, so because of that, we met in places like the tea house, the cafe, and the marina, which was actually really nice because were much more pleasant places to meet than. I mean, the office up there was nice, but it was anyway. Being on the marina was much better, and yeah. So in the last forum, the Mika really shared her heart, and she said that one of the things she said was, she said that she says people say that I'm from Mali or people say that I'm from Australia. I kind of have these national identities, but she said it's not my home actually. I'm a Chonilguk citizen. That's my country. My country is Chonilguk, but at the moment we don't have a country, and so uh, she says we need, both father and mother were really pushing us to find our country, and she said we need a place where what true mother says is the law. We need a place where we are, wherever we go at the moment, we are under the law of the outside world. That's how mother can be put away. And so she anyway really deeply shared her heart that we need to, our quest is to find a nation that will be Chonilguk. And yeah, she shared like that. And anyway, that deep heart of sharing moved a lot of the young, the second gen that were there, really felt the same. And I think every member in our hearts, Father talked about for so long, we'll establish the Chonilguk, and in these 7 years we need to find a nation and like this. And so the last sort of parts of conversation, we started to real earnestly talk about that, our sort of holy quest that true parents have given us, in a sense. We have to restore the world, the world needs to be restored, but we've got to have the Chonilguk nation. And Mika was reflecting and saying the reason that we are now getting attacked, being dissolved in Japan, and mother being put in detention. She said the reason is because we're getting to the point where we are able to, where we have the potential to realize the Chonilguk, to be able to have a nation that acknowledges a true mother. So Satan is trying to attack and bring everything down. Anyway, that was we had a lot of discussion on that point as well, but yeah, I'll perhaps, I don't know, I'll stop there. I was vague about a lot of things just now, but
keep going.
I thought in the spirit of Q&A, I'd let people ask questions. I don't know. So yeah,
We can do that
another
too.
reflection that
Yeah.
that was that there was how do I describe this? This was during this meeting there was a pressure, but it was heavenly pressure. I noticed a difference. I guess anyway, this is some kind of internal reflection for me, but is that this difference between sort of heavenly pressure and I don't know what I should call it, satanic pressure maybe, I don't know, but when you get pressured in a negative way, you feel very smothered and sort of pushed down, like, oh, there's so much, and you get kind of like that. But for what I was feeling there was a pressure, but it was a heavenly pressure. It was not a negative pressure. It was a very positive pressure, meaning that I was getting pushed, but from below, sort of pushed up. And when that happens, that's like really raises up opportunity for you. So I was feeling the pressure and seeing opportunities open, which was that was a feeling that I had rarely had gotten in these kind of meetings. Often when I met with higher levels, the pressure felt like I'm being squashed. Oh my gosh, we have so much to do. It's too heavy, kind of like this. But during this time, it was the opposite. It was a pressure from above, like you're being held up and lifted. And it was like, look how much opportunity we have, and look what we can do. So it was an absolutely different experience this time, and everyone there, we all freely spoke to each other, even the really high continental directors and everyone like that. At one point, we had a small breakout to talk to people, and I sat with Mika because I wanted to talk to her a bit more. And then Reverend Kendu came and sat together with just me and Mika. Like this kind of thing, I never saw the top Korean leaders act this freely and act so familiar with. Anyway, Mika and I are fairly youngly. Like she's a regional director anyway, but he just coming and just talking with us and then listening to us share about our inspirations. It was really nice. It was so nice. It felt like we were all there to work together, and we were all there to under the same purpose. It didn't feel at all like there was no one there who was coming in with their own individual agenda. everyone was there on the same page. We're here, we're for true parents, and we're here representing our members, and we're going to move forward however we can. And however we can, again, meaning in that positive way, like we have so many ways to do this. We have so much ability and so much resources shared amongst us that if we move together with something in unity, then we will achieve it, no worries. This kind of feeling. Not like oh, what could we possibly do? That there was none of that at all. We all felt like and that came from the unity that we were able to develop there. That which was something that Reverend Kendu said. He said that, if we can unite, which true parents are always telling us to do. He said, if we can unite, then we can do whatever. We can bring victory. If we don't unite, then we failed already. And we united in that time, in that form. It felt like at the start of the forum, like there was really the negative feeling, and not a negative feeling, but you could feel that they needed their hearts to be settled. They needed a bit of healing. They needed to be able to say things and ask a lot of questions because, especially we got the briefing on what happened with Yoon Young Ho, and sort of hearing that also made us think, well, how on earth did that happen? How could that kind of thing be allowed to happen? And a lot of questions came up. And he answered them. We gave us a lot of opportunity to answer clearly, or as clearly as he could. I think he wasn't in the World Mission headquarters at that time. Anyway, so like I said, a lot of unity happened there, and I felt that's so important that we're able to feel that, and we're able to have that level of trust in the World Mission headquarters, because if you're struggling to trust, or how are you going to say anything? It's really, really hard. And it was when I was able to see that, okay, I can have a lot of faith in what we're doing now, and a lot of faith in the people leading us, that the weight that was lifted off me was incredible. To my surprise, I didn't realize how much that had been a struggle. And so concluding it with that very, very positive conclusion that Reverend Kendu, I have a lot of trust in this brother, and I think that our movement's in good hands. We did get to have an opportunity, I think, because Moriko-san, she said, why aren't the other three, where are the other two heads of those other two departments? Why aren't they here? Don't they care? And she was quite strong, but because of that, we got to sit down with the human resources department, and we could ask them sort of similar thing. We got to ask many questions. I wasn't prepared for them. I wish I had prepared a bit more, because afterwards I had some questions, and I tried to ask Reverend Kendu, and he said, that's a human resource question. Why don't you didn't you ask the human resources guys? And oops. Anyway, and the central administration, the leader of that, couldn't meet with us because he's with True Mother 24/7. And Kendu explained, that's, someone needs to be there to make sure Mother's getting treated properly, because even in Korea, doctors are not free from reprisals for what they do. So even I think the first lady, the former first lady of Korea, was the doctor that treated her was then attacked by the media and by people because he had given medical treatment to this lady who wasn't well liked or something like this. And apparently, even if when it comes to difficult pregnancy situations, doctors are very hesitant in Korea to do anything, because if something goes wrong with the baby, that family might then sue them, or kind of attack them. Um, so for a doctor to uh, be taking care of mother, it sounds like they really don't want to, not because they have anything against mother, but because they're afraid, like, oh, this is a very political topic. I might lose my license over this, or I might, I can be attacked. So someone needs to be there and make sure that they are helping her, and you know something like this. So that's what the director of the central administration was doing, is what he said. Um, so anyway, we got to meet two out of three, and Meatloaf says that 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Arju. um, yeah. So that's, I guess that's my reflection. I can keep going on.
No, that's okay, Daniel. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And well, you've said things but also skated over things. And actually,
I skated
some
over a lot.
things I know I can understand, and it's an interesting statement that you're there with continental and regional leaders, and they are also giving a hard time to the leadership. So it made me think uh, uh, this leadership that's right next to Mother is, you know, why are they there? Yeah. Anyway, I'm
What
sure
you
that
mean? You mean
question. Huh? Hmm?
did you mean the current ones?
Oh no, because we're talking about all the current ones are there now because of the mistakes of the previous ones. I know, but what caused them to be there in the first place? Anyway, that's I'm sure a longer discussion. But it's good to see that unity was made, and that's a long time coming, because that's really a key. Uh, if you unite, then miracles happen. Your mother has said that time and time again. Unite, and then it happens. And then that joins. That's the last part of the flute. Forgive, love, and unite. And so that healing process, I could see from what you were saying, was happening on the top level, uh, because of the the uh, the sacrifice that mother's doing. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I was talking to a HR person actually just last night, just, but for different other things, because they were just a UPA cadet that was here in Australia once is now in that department. And so, but it's still, clearing out. And as you said, while you were there, it got raided again, and so they didn't talk about the Constitution, because we really need a nation. Absolutely need a nation. If we don't have a nation, then more problems happen. And what you said that Mika mentioned, it really is. We are global citizens, and we are members of Chongyol, but we don't have a nation ourselves. I mean, we settle in our respective nations of birth, but really we need to, create substantially the nation of our Chongyol, because that's where the future is. Yeah.
Tony just had a question about
Yeah, go ahead.
have I reflected on how my experience will influence my own role as a pastor. Yeah, good, very, very poignant question. The answer is yes. Um, the yeah, like I said, um, that was kind of one of my immediate thoughts, was that all members need this. All members need the chance to speak. So I sort of don't, in my yearly schedule, I haven't made much time. I only once a year, I think, do I schedule an um, open discussion, and that's usually around the end of the year to sort of reflect and talk on what we do. But having this thing, I feel like, yeah, that's probably not enough. It probably needs to happen a bit more. Um, so I think that was my main takeaway about my own pastoral role, is that even though I've now felt satisfied in my heart, all members need to, we need to be able to we all have our concerns, and we need to unify together in the same way, like that. So yeah, that would have been my reflection. Yeah.
Thank you. And you would have noticed that Reverend Santosh put up a link to some of the words of Reverend Du in relation to that open forum. That was given. It's May 9th. It has their World Mission Headquarters two-stream system strategy, and I recommend you go have a look and read that. And yeah. Is there anyone else that wants? Yes, Reverend Santos.
Good morning. Thank you, Daniel, for wonderful reflection. I was trying to follow up what is happening wherever we were invited. I participated, but there were a few things that was not live casted. Then we could not participate. But I was time to time checking the website of Mission Headquarters what is happening and what Reverend Du is speaking. And I found this during the similar what Daniel has expressed. So the whole speech is here in this link. We can go through this link, but there is a conclusion. So Reverend Du is talking about the mission headquarters, old mission headquarters will move forward by establishing balance between these two axes: the providence of salvation of humankind and restoration of the world, centering in true parents. The second is life in the kingdom of heaven and earth, and formation of a community and culture of heart. And he said, therefore, I earnestly ask each of you leaders present here today, until the next leader forum, please engage deeply with the members in your mission and mission areas regarding this second axis, the individual propose and put into practices. Reflect seriously on how in your area you can save one more person and bring happiness to one more family. So I was really impressed with this statement that Reverend Du made. As a public leader, as a pastor, he was asking the leaders that and put it into practice. Reflect seriously on how in your area you can save one more person and bring happiness to one more family. So this was really heart touching for me. So the speech is not that much long. The closing is not that much long. I have put the link. We can go through that. But it was amazing, and reflection that Daniel gave is amazing. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you. Anyone else want to make a reflection, a comment, or? No, all good. Thank you, everyone. It is time now for us to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just bring up that screen. Okay, there it is. Oops. Interesting. Where'd they go there for? Okay, let's offer our unison prayer. Thank you. All right. Jew. Thank you, Reverend Daniel, for sharing. And I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all again tomorrow. So thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Happy
Thank you, Reverend
Mother's
Daniel.
Day.
Yeah, oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Happy Mother's Day to you
Happy
all.
Mother's
Happy
Day.
Mother's.
Happy Mother's Day. Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.